my name's Maxine, and I thought I had some good ideas to show you about my sewing room. So we'll start at the door here. I've got a hook on the door. It's just a little sign my mum made me. On the back of the door I also have hooks for hanging bits and pieces, little extras. So we'll move on to the wardrobe. In here I've got little plastic drawers. These are really great for moving because when they're full you can still move them quite easily, and they fit inside the wardrobe. I have these shelves which I put different projects on, and I use them also for storing up the top. On this side, these wire shelves are really good for storing your jumpers and things, but for books not so good. So I just cut a piece of ply to cover the shelf with so that my books stand up on. Now this is where I hang all my hoops, so machine hoops and embroidery hoops, and it's just a small piece of timber, and I've got these little hooks on them which sit the hoops really well, and then a cup hook in the top which I just hang over the coat hanger rail at the top. On this wall now I have, these are two bedside tables. They make good little drawers for individual things. So I have linings in one and different materials in another, and so on. I normally have my ironing board here, but for this purpose I have folded it up, which is why the iron is here, and I also have a power board here to plug in. Sometimes I have a fan here, or the iron, or whatever, heater in the winter time if necessary. This table I designed, my son and I built it. I made it to my height, and I made it wide enough so that when I fold the material in half, it's just nice for cutting patterns. It has a pop-up side here with a leg that pops out. That happens on both sides. Because this room is small, you don't need that out all the time, and I fold it up when not needed. In here, these shelves, there's a shelf in here, and these go all the way through, and there's a door on both sides so you can get into from both ends. Now, just recently I built this little cupboard which goes halfway, and there's another one on the other side that goes halfway, and I've just put in, there's two drawers there, and there's three drawers on this side. If you're into carpentry you'll see all the faults, but I love it and it works well. It's on wheels, so it's easy to move once again. On this side I was overbuilding the drawers, so I just put shelves, and I just bought these from one of the cheap stores to put different projects in. And over here, these are little shoe containers, and they're good for pens and different things. And just a shelf for books and things. So there's my full-length mirror, which I can easily slide out. You can see I've got rather a large bin, so that if I throw material or whatever, I want it to reach the bin, not the floor. It also works well when I move to pack big items in. So now comes to the bookshelf. I've organised these in subjects. So this one's Crazy Patch. On this side is dressmaking, curtain making, machine embroidery. We have general embroidery, and then goes down further, and there's applique quilting, cross stitch, so on and so forth. I've got a CD player that I can play CDs on if I want, my different overlocker threads, DVDs, my overlocker. So on my bin here, my little catch tray, my overlocker used to spin around, so I put a little piece of the grippy material, which you can buy quite cheaply. This was a round placemat that I just cut the front off. Then I've got my portable DVD player, so if I'm in here for a while I might put a DVD on. That all sits on a shelf. In the last place I lived, that was in the kitchen, that had a toaster and a kettle on it, and in here it works really well. My sewing machine cabinet wasn't high enough, so I just got a couple of pieces of timber and wrapped them in gift wrap, and that holds it up nice. Now this sewing table I've had for many years. It's a horn sewing cabinet, but it's still better than any of the ones that I think you can buy now. It suits me really well. Not quite high enough for me, so I've covered this box in contact and my sewing machine sits on top of that. The mat down the bottom is just a grippy mat. You can buy those in most sewing places, and I've stuck a piece of the loopy side of Velcro on the bottom of my foot, my machine foot, and it stops it sliding around on the floor. Over here I have my light, which I have actually screwed to the table, and I remove when I move, and it just gets screwed back on. Also, because I live in rented places, I can't screw anything to the wall, so with these shelves, and I'll show you a little later on a better view, but these shelves, you can buy these brackets in hardware stores, and instead of screwing it to the wall, I've screwed it to the back of the sewing machine cabinet. And then I just bought some brackets and shelves, and the bits and pieces I use most of all just sit there. Then I've got another bookcase on this side, so you can see I have a fetish for machine threads, or threads in general. Next shelf is canisters, and I have zips in one, Velcro in one, trims in another, and they're in these clear canisters, and you can see exactly what's in there and easy to find. The next shelf, just little bits and pieces. These little drawers are great. I've just got needles in one, cutting tools in another, pens in the top one, things like that. The next shelf is similar. I've used these little guys to put my threads in. So I've got a couple of those for threads, and then this one down here is bobbins. One of my other fetishes is beads, I'm afraid. So they all sit on the next shelf. Now we move on here to the drawers, and on this side here I have a hook, and I hang my tape measures on that, so hopefully I can find them when I need them. I might just mention that a good chair when you're sitting and sewing is a must. Okay, now on this set of drawers, I've named each of the drawers because they're both the same cupboards. There's two of them here, and it's easier if I name them rather than opening all the drawers, finding what I want. This also has the brackets attached to the back of the cupboard, which gives me two more shelves. And I'll show you on the next one what not to do, because they do get a little wobbly. This one's not too bad. As you can see, my button fetish. And on the top one I've just got a couple of light things, and it's good to keep light things on that top shelf. So the next one, once again, they're all named, and brackets sewn to the back of the cupboard with the shelves. Now I'll just shake this one. If you go too high, this is what happens, and you need to be careful because even opening and closing the drawers can make that shape. So if you're going to put anything up that high, you need it to be light so that if it falls it doesn't hit you and hurt you. But otherwise everything is pretty much self-explanatory. I must show you my drawers. I fold all my materials so that they fit nice and neat in the drawer, and it's easy to see what I have. This one has like fat quarters, and it also works really well, and I found once I did that I gained space in 2 drawers. So that's a really good idea. You can find out how to do that on YouTube. There's plenty of sites to show you how to do that. And then in the corner, another set of the little plastic shelves, which, like I said, when you're moving, put the trolley under it, move it, and it's done. So I hope you get something out of everything I've shown you, and yeah, happy sewing.